welcome back to Childhood Expired, where we talk about our life experiences in early adulthood. I'm Kathy, your married working glue that keeps this group together.
And I'm Kike, the funny and the wise one of the group.
And I'm Abril, the traveling single one that adds fire to this group.
Today, we're recording our 11th episode, so we are getting farther into this podcast. If you haven't liked or shared yet, please do so. Make sure that you subscribe so you can stay posted to everything that we post. You can always find us on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, and leave us a review or a comment on what you liked or what you would like to hear. Today, we're going to be talking about money and our relationship with money. Let's get into finances. Good, bad, and ugly. So, when you guys hear the word money, do you think positively or negatively? What's the first thing you feel?
On you saying money immediately, positive. All the way. Positive. Hi, money, where? Where is it at?
You're going to give me money?
Yes. You? It's just that feeling, like, whenever you talk about money, like, what's the initial, like, is it or it's like, okay, like, what is it?
For me, it's like the sense of me using money in a conversation, in a sentence, it's, I don't have enough money for that.
So it's negative.
For me, it's always negative just because I never have enough for what I want.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
I don't think like, I don't have enough, but I would say it's a little bit negative too. When I hear money, I'm like, how much? I'm like, because everything needs money. Like, to do everything. Kika asked me the other day, what are we going to do for food today? He was asking like, are you going to cook? Or what did you make food, right? He's like, what are we eating? And I said, we're going to buy food because that's how you get food. You buy it. Like, everything costs money. And I was saying, I was being funny because I hadn't cooked that day. We were going to buy food. But that's my initial reaction. When I hear money, I'm like, how much money? To do what? Well,
No, I'm a little reckless. Not reckless with money, but I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And then I find out how much it costs, and I'm like, okay, let me think about a little bit. Like, I recently had a friend tell me, like, oh, let's go back to DC or whatever. I'm like, yeah, let's go. She sends me Airbnbs, hotels, and I'm like, okay, let's keep looking. Let's find other options that we could do.
Yeah.
But it's usually always positive. But I've definitely had some negative times with money.
Yeah, and I think even like sometimes I help my parents at their store, and they'll be like, "We're gonna pay you." It doesn't do enough for me. Because if I don't feel like being there, and I love my parents, I don't know if they listen to all of our episodes, but yeah, I love them. Sometimes they know that I'm not a fan of like customer service, like retail type stuff, right? Yeah. And so being at their store is a little difficult for me, but I go and I help. But when they're like, well, we're going to pay you for it, I'm like, that's not the deciding factor for me. And I don't need money from you, of all people, my parents. Like, I'm not doing it to get paid. I'm just deciding, do I want to go there on my Saturday or not? That's what I'm deciding. It has nothing to do with the money. So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about parents. What kind of advice did you receive about money from your parents? Was it a conversation during your childhood or not until you became an adult? You were about to hit 18. How did that conversation go?
So my mother never sat down, just like many topics in adult life, that somebody should sit down with you and talk to you about money. And my mom watches all the episodes. And so I told her that I was going to say that. She never told me anything about money. Like, she really did. We never sat down at the table and she told me this is how you do things. But my family's always been good with money, though. And I guess she kind of assumed that because I never saw her in debt. I've never seen my mom, like, times were hard, but I've never seen my mom struggle to ever get like a job or make money or not work hard. So I think she assumed that from just seeing her that I would just get it.
Yeah, it's in the DNA.
It's just in the DNA. But no, I do remember one time her telling me just not to be stupid. Right. And that's when I was like 16. And what does that mean? But
calling me stupid.
Don't be stupid. That's all I remember. And now as an adult, we talk a little bit more about it. But even me and her, we're not financially educated, So at this point, me as an adult, her as an adult, we're learning about money. So advice in teens, didn't get any. And once I turned 18, my mom is a very firm believer of once you're an adult, you're responsible for yourself and only yourself. What you do with your money, what you do with your life is all on you. Because if I get in trouble, it's not her problem.
But there wasn't a turning moment. Like, okay, you're 18 now. This is my last piece before you're on your own.
No, there wasn't. About money, no. She just told me not to be dumb. And that was it. And that if I needed anything, that I could always go to her. Because also my mom's not because like for my first year of college, I couldn't get financing for that. My mom paid for it. But me, I feel weird that she paid for it. So I paid her back. She never asked for it, right? My mom's never been somebody that's like holds money over you, right? Or like, oh, I bought this, or you live in my house.
Yeah, you remember the time I gave you this?
Yeah. She's never been that person, but there was never a moment of, I think the only time was she said, if I ever needed anything, there should not be fear between mom and daughter of asking for help.
Makes sense. What about you, Kike?
I think, so in my life, my parents have always been business entrepreneurs, basically, and that kind of rubbed off on me because throughout my whole life in high school, I took a lot of classes of business because all I wanted to be was an entrepreneur. Not in the same like
field.
Yeah, but I've always wanted to be like a videographer. I wanted to do my own content, make all these things possible. So I always studied for like business and finances and stuff. And when I ask you about budgeting, you may think that I'm asking you like, how are we? But I like it when I see the graph myself and like I make my own assessment. And like an advice that they would have given me was just like work for it. They never pushed me to work in a way that really impacted my life other than the factory, but they didn't do it out of wrong intentions, nor was I not understanding. I understood and I submitted to it and I worked at that factory. But they always told me, whatever you want to do it as long as you can do it as a career, as long as you can get paid. Never let anything go to waste. It's not worth it to buy candy from the checkout aisles.
Solid advice.
Yeah. My mom was always a no person. My mom, every time we would go to Walmart, anywhere, she would always say no. And I've always felt like, oh my gosh, like she says no all the time. But as I grew up, I was like, I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't buy that. I don't want to buy that. So it makes sense. And I'm glad that she was like that. And my mom is a couponist. So
couponer.
She's always
couponist.
Yeah. You gotta make it crisp.
It's a way of life.
Yeah, and in that sense, basically, she taught me to be wise with my money and to strike any deals. Any deal you can get it. Anything you can sell it. Anything you don't need, give it away for money.
For sure. Anytime you can save money on something, go with the deal.
Yeah. Obviously. So I think that's how my parents' financing and budgeting rubbed off on me. Is that I can find deals. I actually can find deals on anything, or I can find the best pricing. One of the things my dad taught me was to research. Like if I ever want to buy something, I don't just look for a brand and buy it. So now I always go like top best iPhones for photography, and then I look it up, and then I look up their pros and cons, and then I look at their pricing. Like I do full on research. Of course, I don't write it all down because I don't have to present it to anybody.
So you don't let yourself be taken just by the ads, just by the pretty colors.
Ads. In fact, I ignore the ads. Yeah, just pretty much all around, like strike the deals, be wise with money, and
no, don't buy that.
And don't buy that. Yeah, and don't buy that. Yeah.
Solid advice. I think for me, I can't think of like one specific conversation, like you said, like a sit down moment. No, but I would say I did grab a lot of it just by sight, like just by what I saw. I remember always seeing my mom with a notebook where she would write down all the bills. She would check off after she paid them, because now we have a lot of automatic payment stuff, right? But back in the day, you had to do them, right?
Yeah.
And back in the day, it's not that long ago, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And my mom, I always saw her with her little green notebook, and she would, I don't know if it was supposed to be green because of money, or she just had a green notebook. She always had a green notebook. She wrote it down every month. And I remember maybe I was 16, 17. Once I like had my own money, right? And you're like, oh, I can buy my family Christmas presents and stuff like that. Yeah. I bought my mom a little budget thingy that I found at Dollar General. My mom buys the same thing at Dollar General every year now. Wow. Like, and it was like, it's just a notebook, but it already has like the lines and the price and whatever. And so she just fills it in instead of like doing it all DIY in her notebook, you know? Yeah. And it has slots for her envelopes. And so she buys one every year. And that's something for me. Now I run our budget. I don't do it in a notebook. I do it on the computer, but I write everything down. I go a little bit more in depth than what she does. And I asked her about it. When I got married, I did go to her, because I remember always seeing my mom run the budget. And I asked her if she tracked everything or just bills. And she explained me how she did it. And so I go a little bit more in depth than what she does. But I grasp that by seeing her always. Yeah. And the other thing for me that you could count as advice, everything was clearance aisle. I mean, like you said, your mom was a no. My mom was clearance. And my grandma, she can't say clearance. She says cleaners. So the inside joke is my mom is always like, let's go to the cleaners. Let's go to the cleaners aisle. And every store we walk in, it's straight to the cleaners. Straight to the clearance. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, because that's where just because it's going out of season or whatever, and you get it for a lot cheaper. And so I'm used to that. When I buy something like that's just out on the floor, I feel a little bit weird still. I'm like, oh, I could buy this in 2 months when it goes on clearance, you know? Like, but then again, it might not be on clearance if it all sells out. Like, stuff that I reason in my mind as I get older. But that's something that was like, you know, the cheaper you can get it like that. And then, you know, as you grow up and hear things, then you start thinking about fast fashion. Is this bad or whatever? Yeah, you know, I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I feel kind of guilty sometimes.
Definitely.
But those are the things that I would say I grasped from her. And I remember when I got the bank account that she would be like, you're doing good. Like, my mom wasn't on me about like, what are you spending your money on or anything like that. A lot like you, that it's your money, go for it.
Yeah.
It was just
mine was
all right.
Opposite.
They wanted to know where you were spending your money?
Well, they didn't want to like track all my like spending, but they would always tell me, don't spend too much, because they would like, every time I would go out, it'd be like, don't spend too much. It's like, don't buy too much. Get the cheapest stuff. If there's a deal, get the deal. Of course, like by the time that I was at McDonald's, I would like have more money and I would just spend it, but I was never such a wasting kind of person. Not even like on the PlayStation, like you can buy stuff, and I would always have my card in my PlayStation, but I would never buy anything. never, especially because I know my mom will find out. Yeah, so that's how I save money. That's how I'm married. But I would get like super uncomfortable because I was like, Mom, like, you gotta stop like micromanaging my finances. Like, you stop. And she didn't. I just felt
as
like
a teen, everything feels like
everything felt like that. And I love you, Mom, if you're watching this. She would always like, sometimes like I would think that she would be taking money from me, but when she would tell me, I'm gonna use some of your money, I'll give it back to you. I'm like, okay. And I would always feel like she would take more. But then, like, at one moment, we had an argument, and she was like, you know what? I don't take money from you. I take less than what I'm telling you I'm taking. And I was like, okay.
But you didn't check your bank accounts back then.
I didn't have a bank account.
It was just
I did have a bank account. I just didn't have it in my phone.
He doesn't know. When I started dating Kike, he had no idea how much money was in his account. Like, he didn't have the app on his phone. Like, it works. He had no idea. It was ridiculous.
But the reason why I was like confident enough to swipe the card It's because I know, like,
she'll let you know if you're in danger.
Yeah. Like, she would have taken my card. And I never gone through that. I've always had enough. I've always worked for it. Like, there's just times that she'll be like, hey, like, what did you do? I was like, hey, like, I went to this restaurant and they bought me this. Or sometimes, like, if I have an expensive receipt, I'll be like, Mom, it's kind of late now to tell you, but I kind of pay for something, like, expensive. I'm sorry. It's like, it's fine. That place is expensive anyways.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know now. Like, Golden Corral is
that's
one
the
of
way
them.
you learn.
Not the buffet.
I'm never buying here again.
Well, it's funny that we talk about that a little bit because I'm saying when I make a kid, he didn't track that kind of stuff, right? So how did you start tracking? Do you track your money? Do you budget? Like, you put restrictions on yourself for a certain month, or how do you do that?
So I when I budget my money, I like to lowball most of the numbers, right? Or not lowball. I like to put them very high with the exception that I know I'm never going to reach there, right? Like, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So, like, let's say I budget $500 and my spending for the month is, let's say $500 a month. Let's say my spending, I budget that I'm going to spend $200, but I never try to reach that, right? Like, that's my goal, is to never reach it. Some people are like, no, this is here and I'm okay with reaching it. Just my biggest fear is that I just never want to go over. So I always make it a little bit higher so I know I can never go over. Like, that's just my thing. I always check my bank account. I'm just that person. I always look at my spreadsheet. I'm somebody that I like to check off things. So there's things like tithe. As soon as it's done, check it off. There's things like phone bill, the rent that I give my mom. What else? It just things that I know I can automatically check off for the entire month. I like to just go ahead and make sure that's out of my account. My credit card bill, like, as soon as I get paid, I like paying everything, but it hurts because it's a lot of money. Like, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, when thousands of dollars are coming out of your account in one day, it hurts. But I do it so that I can be comfortable throughout the month, right? That's how I am now. I like the spreadsheet. Well, mine is a circle. Mine is a pie. I like color coding it. I put my priorities on there, my tithe, my gas, how much money I'm going to buy for the house, like grocery wise, and how much money that I will intend to buy outside. Like, let's say I want to go out to eat. I put my, the luxury bill, like if I want to go out with friends to the movies or whatever. What else? Just things like that. If obviously emergencies, I put on my thing how much I'm going to put in my savings. My savings account also has its own little column too, because I like planning for trips for next year. So my savings account, there is money being taken out of it. Sometimes, I don't want to say regularly, but there is times I like to track that too. But when I started, I mean, when you're a kid, you make what, $7.25 an hour? And I worked as a waitress too. So money was just very come and go. But I don't think I've ever been bad with money. I do remember one time I would just spend it, however, like I didn't care. Because when you're a teenager, you don't have bills. Yeah. And my mom was never one to make me pay for my phone bill, whatever. My mom was very much, once you're under 18, be a kid, act like a kid. Don't ever. After 18, grow up, So I was never one to either spend all my money and then ask my mom for money. Like, I knew that wasn't okay, just like in like personally wise. Yeah. But I started using envelopes, right? So just kind of putting money in envelopes. This is food. This is if I want
when
something.
At 18?
No, before 18.
Before 18?
Before 18, because I never had a bank account before 18. I got my bank account when I could open it by myself. Because when you're underage, you need somebody to sign off on it, right?
That's how I was. Yeah.
So everything was envelopes. And then one thing that I looked at, I don't remember how I looked in it. I think I just wanted to know how to do my budget, my money better, was the Dave Ramsey rule of 50, 30, 20, right? So 50% of your money should go to, and I don't still use this, but it's roughly about the same thing. 50% of your money should go to your needs, right? You need to pay for your car. You need to pay for your phone. You need to pay for your groceries. You need to tithe. 50% of your money should go to that. 20% of your money should go to your wants. Or I think it's 30. 30% of your money should go to your savings, because he says that you should pay yourself first before you pay anybody else, right? So 70% or 30% of your money should go in your savings, and then 20% of your money should go to your wants. Whatever you want, that 20% is yours. So for a long time I did that. I think a paycheck a week was like $250. So I did it. 50% of $250, 30% of $250, 20% of $250. And it worked out until I got to be 18, and then more things came in and more responsibilities came in and stuff like that. So you budget your money in the way that you need it at that time, right? Because I've been through times where I need to save so much money, right? Like I need to get that emergency fund put down. I need to get that 3-month fund put down. I have something really big that I really want. I need that right now. So those numbers change, right? So, but that's how my journey has been to this moment.
You feel like you're at a healthy budgeting right now?
I feel like I'm in a healthy budgeting. I had a one time, and I don't know if we're going to talk about it later or whatever, but like one mistake that I made was I went through a moment where I was scared to spend money. I went into like I don't know why, a survival mode, that spending money, because I was so scared not to have money. And I think I remember talking to my mom like that one time. I was like, I don't want, like, she got mad at me. I was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to spend money. She's like, it's good to save your money, but you're saving your money. You're not enjoying your money. You know, you should enjoy it too. You know, you worked for it. And she was just, don't live in survival mode, right? My mom always says, you can't stop at the no, you have to go for the yes. And so, and if you know my mom, that's how she talks. And so, but that was one thing that kept me down for a very long time, was being scared to be poor, being scared of the what if the world ends tomorrow and I have nothing, right? But I think I'm in a good place with my money right now. I feel like if I don't have a job, it'll be okay for the next couple months. If I want to go on a trip, there's not a price that's like, man, that's too much or whatever. I'm single right now, so I can do basically whatever I want. You know, I feel like I satisfy the needs of my house, you know, so I think I'm in a good place. Me and my money are just healthy right now.
Good. We like that. What about you, Kike? How did you start budgeting? Did you ever budget without me? Yes. Tell us about it.
I've, besides my mom already having an account open for me, I would ask her questions about like my money and like how is it working, how is it going, like am I on debt? Obviously I wasn't on debt. But
your mom's like, oh yeah, you've been in the negative for 3 months.
I would pay for my phone, and I would pay for, well, I don't know if I did pay for my phone, but for sure my car I would pay for. And I would ask her about savings, like, you know, I want to be able to save. Just because that's what I learned in school. Everybody always gives you that advice. So I was like, Mom, do I have a savings? And she was like, yeah, like, and she would show me like, this is how much. And like, I always grab from, cause she would manage it for me, but I'm the kind of person that always likes to be informed. That's why I always go to Kathy too about the finances. So that was my kind of budgeting. It wasn't really doing the numbers myself, but I had somebody that would take care of that problem for me and help me understanding it. And that's when it would come in that I would, like, when I would go out, I would watch what I would spend. If it was over 20, it depended on the item. And if it was something I really wanted and I know I had the money, then I would be like, Mom, it costs $60. I know I have it, but I want to ask for your permission first. So I'll be like, we talk about it, and she'll be like, okay, but you can't spend for any more. And that was just for me not to waste money. But I know that I had more than just that. Right. So that's why, like, that's why I also
but you didn't know what Kathy, number was in
there. Yeah. I didn't know what number. So I would buy it. I would be so happy. It would last me for a good while. That was my kind of budgeting, basically. And that's why, like, sometimes, like, when I, like, buy something, Kathy, I told you, like, all right, this is it. Like, I'm not going to buy anything in a while. And it is true. Because, like, there's times that I buy games on the PlayStation. I'm like, I'm not going to buy a game. And she's like, why? And it's like, I just buy one game and just
wait a couple months and then buy again. This is routine.
I cannot, like, I'm not going to be, like, a money spender. Like, I don't find it worth it. And sometimes games that cost so much often go free sometimes. Like, there's some games that people have been mad about. You know, there's
it's like clearance.
Well, it's worse than clearance because people spend $100 and then it goes free.
Oh, yeah.
And that happened to me and Alex on a game that was super good. And to this day, it is a super good game. But
still free.
But it turned free after 1 year. We spent $100. We pre-ordered the game. We played together for hours. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then it turned free. And it was like what the heck? And then it happened to me like 3 years ago again too, but it wasn't as much. It was like $60. I wasn't married to you.
Though, to go free?
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Exactly. So that's like the only reason, like that's another reason why when you buy a game, like you wait it out. That was my kind of budgeting back then. Another budgeting that was also like saving money was don't buy the game the day of or as soon as it comes out. Like just wait half a year or a year. By the time the next game comes, like the next sequel, like the game will be like half the price. And I'll be like, oh,
I do that with iPhones.
You guys stay at least one behind. For good measure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's mine's are kind of what's that called? User friendly, kind of for anybody advice.
Yeah.
How do you budget now as a married man?
So the way that I do it is I have somebody that does my money.
I have a financial advisor.
Now I have the access on my phone and actually see how much money I have.
Yes, we've stepped it up now. You have the app.
Now I get to see like where all my money is coming from. And Kathy will ask me, hey, what did you spend? What is this coming from? Or where is this?
Yeah, because I track a store everything.
Name. And I'm like, I bought this here.
So when did your mom stop managing your money? As soon as you got married?
Yep.
So when you got all of your money, what was your reaction? Like, was it a lot? Like, did you have a lot of money that you never knew? You knew. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I didn't know if it was like a surprise. Like, wow,
I have that much.
I have. This is mine.
In fact, I'll tell you when I had my first car is whenever I freaked out the most because I thought I didn't know how much money I had, and then we're like, all right, we're gonna like start looking for a car for me, and then they were like, okay, so you have $11,000, and I was like, where did I make that money from? But it's because I didn't have any bills.
That's what I was wondering, if that was a reaction, if that was a moment.
He had
a moment.
So, but apparently it's just that I don't have any bills, and I used to work production, not
you get big
money. Like
I got you.
I used to work production, and production was basically above $18 per hour. So like some weeks I would get like 24 or some weeks but it was production. It wasn't hour. And then when I did go to hours at another plant, it was like $18 because it was so good. And then I went $15. Not that I was doing anything bad, but it's just the fluctuation of the whole place was weird. And then I fixed my rate because through all that it's just that the production and the seasons weren't as well, so my money started lowering.
Yeah, factory stuff changes like that.
Yeah.
So
but his parents were just stashing it away for him.
Yeah.
Dang.
So then I went into office, and in the office I was $14.50 per hour. So I stayed as a
by
fixed
then you
rate.
had your car though. That was
exactly.
That was
By then I had my car, but that's pretty much why I had all that money. It was because I've worked, and my mom would keep like throwing into savings.
All that money she was taking. It was
all that money she was taking. It wasn't like away from my chickens. She would just move it, and I thought I had a zero.
Moving it.
I didn't know how to save.
Jeez, moms.
No, but that's pretty much like how I like found out about my own money. Was just I didn't know. I was like, man, like that car costs us $7,000. I don't have $7,000. And then we would look at the Jeep and stuff, and I almost bought a Jeep, and it was like $11,000, and we were checking it, and it was like, that's all I have, and I was like, that's a lot, like
that's a lot of money.
So that was when I started realizing like how much money I made.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kathy came along, and I was like, all right, Mom, I need to disconnect my account from yours. Yes. We got into a big argument.
Did you? I don't remember.
Yeah, I got into a big argument with her because again, like I was hell like you're taking too much control of my money.
Yeah,
and I need to like independence myself.
Yeah.
I need to leave the nest.
Happy Independence Day.
Yeah.
I need to fly.
Our wedding day is your Independence Day.
So yeah.
I want to say that probably at some point while we were dating, we probably got you the app and stuff, but I don't have clear memory, but I know once we were pretty set that we wanted to get married, we didn't set a budget, like how much to spend or not, but we sent like, you're going to put this much and I'm going to put this every month into savings. And we had separate bank accounts, separate savings, but it was like wedding, marriage, fun, right? Mm-hmm. So every month there was a set amount, and now I don't remember the number. I honestly don't. But we had a set amount that's how much we would put into savings each month until the wedding or whatever we needed to spend it on for wedding. But yeah, as soon as we got married, we disconnected. I got off my mom's, he got off his mom's. We joined, and now it's my job.
Oh, another thing is like I would like. Because I have my card, I would like do my own online purchasings, and all I had to do was tell my mom. Because at a certain age, like I think around 18, I didn't really need to like. She didn't really need to like look at my account, nor did I. So I would just be like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this," and I would like tell her, and then she'll be like, "All right, just keep the receipt." So that was pretty much like the aftermath of budgeting.
Yeah. So for me, for budgeting, I didn't start working until I was 18. So at 16, I started driving my own car and things like that, having expenses like gas or going out to eat with friends, little things like that, right? Not a ton because I'm not super social, but little things, birthday parties, buying a gift for my friends, things like that. So from 16 to 18, my parents would give me some cash anytime I needed gas or like once a week. I don't remember all the details now, but I remember I would get home and I'd be like, I need gas. Here you go. And they would give me the money, and I would go put the gas. And I didn't feel bad because I knew my mom always made it clear, like, we're going to pay for your stuff right now because we want you to focus on school, right? I was a star child in school and the straight A little girl, whatever. And so my parents were always super proud of that, and there was no pressure to work. And anytime I want to go bowling, I want to go do this, okay, they would give me the money. I think at some point, probably at the very beginning, because that's a very low amount, but at some point it was like $25 a month that my mom would give me. Oh, okay, and I would buy little things,
But it feels like a lot.
It works for something. I don't remember how long that lasted, but at some point it was that. And then there was like anytime I needed gas or something, they would just give me the money. So at 18, when I started working, that's when we went and opened the bank account. And I got my own debit card and things like that. And I didn't budget then. I had the app. I knew how much money I had. I would give my tithe. And that was about it. I just knew not to be stupid, I just knew not to spend more than what was in there. I've never been a big spender because, I was raised on clearance. Like I said, I was raised on just not spending. You don't need it. And so I just always had money there, and that was it. I was happy. I don't think I opened a savings account immediately. I think that was a little bit later that we went and did the savings account. And then I started like, I'm going to give this much every month. Just kind of like a goal. I don't think I always stuck to it, but my goal was this much every month is going to go into my savings account. And that was it. That's all the tracking that there was. And then I fell in love with Kike. I started saving for the wedding and things like that. And that was as deep as it got. And then as soon as we got married, I was like, okay, I'm a wife now. Budget. It was like overnight. I was like, I have to know now. Like now I want to know what gets spent on every category. Before I didn't care. I don't know how much I was spending on clothes, on food, I didn't know those numbers. But as soon as I got married, I wanted to know everything. So if you look at the way I budget now, I use a spreadsheet and it has all the bills, right? And most of those are automatic payments. Most of those stay the same number. Some of them change depending on the month. And I just put yes once it gets paid. Yes, once it gets drawn out of the account, or once I went and gave it, I put yes. And it has at the top how much income. It's an estimate of how much income Kika makes every month, how much income I make. Mine is always the same. And then under it, it has the categories. And that's where I will put the estimate amount. But at the beginning, I think the beginning was just still as before, no like limits. It was just filling out the info after it was spent. Because at that point, I didn't know. And especially having just gotten married, I didn't know how much we would need for groceries, how much gas it takes for 2 cars. You know, I don't know, because we didn't have all that joined. So the first couple months was just run the card. You know,
run it up.
Don't
Run it up.
Run the card. Don't be responsible. And every month I would write how much is spent, right? Then I got the estimated amount. Okay, this is how much is going into gas. This is how much is going into groceries. This is how much went to fast food. That feels a little high. This is how much went to... I had the miscellaneous I've had to really crack down on. Because what started as miscellaneous is now like 5 different categories. Because I want to know what's that miscellaneous that is so dang big. Like, that don't feel right. The miscellaneous now is small because I've determined what those categories are that's going into. And so it's just learning, just writing everything down and figuring it out. So now we're at the point where I know those estimated numbers that, you know, groceries shouldn't go above this amount. The gas shouldn't really go above this. And of course that fluctuates with inflation. And then, you know, fast food can go over this amount. It shouldn't. You know, we don't want it to. So, because I've seen how far it can go. I've seen how far the miscellaneous can go with the first couple months. So now we put numbers and I'll let Kika know, like, hey, like, let's do all food at home this week because we need to keep it tighter this month because we're going on vacation next month or something like that. You know, just kind of strategizing things like that. There's still the number that I want to give to savings each month. It's a goal that I put. I'm not super strict on it, but we do pretty good with having our savings account, having our emergency fund, and, you know, something happens to his car, we have the money. We grab it and we spend it. Something happens to my car, which is more frequent than his. and that's how I budget. I just
it's all trial and error. Like you never get it the first time because you don't know. And it doesn't matter if you have a mom like Kike or somebody sits down with you and tells you this and that. Until you do it by yourself, you don't know what works for you, right? Or you can do all the strategies and all the tricks and all the rules and the whatever, and you figure out what works out for you and what's important to you, right? Like what is obviously y'all is living in this house, is having somewhere to sleep, right? But my important is, I don't know, just enjoying life, right? So whatever's important to you. I think the biggest thing that I hate, and I don't think I've ever really seen my family go through this, even in the hard times, but like living paycheck to paycheck. That is a big fear of mine. I don't know how people do it. I'm not super stressed about money, but I'm so aware of it that I just don't think I could survive in that mindset, right? It's scary.
Yeah, there's no cushion, as you would say. And like, I always make sure there's cushion. Your savings account is cushion number 1. The emergency account is cushion number 2. Yes. The cushion number 3 is the extra money in the checking account. The checking never goes down to 0. Like that should never happen.
Yeah, that's something that you taught me, because a lot of the rules that will teach you when you Google money, when you Google how to budget your money. And again, if nobody sits down and tells you anything, or you don't have nobody to go to, you can only interpret the way your perspective is. Every budgeting account is going to tell you that it has to end at 0, which is true. You should have your money. You should know where every dollar is going, and what you make and how much you spend. It should equal 0. Why? Because you put things in the savings. You put things over here. But I, dumb, thought that meant you use everything. You use everything. That it's all used up because it's yours, which is wrong. And so one time I had a conversation with you, and you're like, Burrell.
Where's your cushion?
Where's your cushion?
And I said it wrong. Cushion number 1 is that money in the checking, so that you don't
the
have
leftover.
to grab from your
It's
savings.
called leftovers.
So
or what we call it.
The way I have and that's just the Apple template, Apple Sheets. That's the first spreadsheet I ever used for budgeting, and it has a slot at the bottom that says leftover money. And so it made sense to me. I was like, oh, it makes sense. I need to have some leftover money, because your budget is only saying, for me, the way I do it, how much came in that month and how much got spent that month, right? And it doesn't apply to the month before, the month after. So there's a certain amount that goes to savings, which is a good thing, but not all of it, because then your checking gets down to 0. And next month, especially when you have a mortgage or automatic bills, next month on the 1st, that money's getting pulled out of your checking. So if your account's at 0, you're going negative. You know, if that next check hasn't come in, if you're a check-to-check person, there's no money for them to grab. Yeah. So I always set whatever's, if let's say I have $500 leftover dollars, I'm going to probably put a good chunk of that into the savings. But I might leave 100. Because it builds up a cushion. And if one month we went over, we did a bad job, we were eating out too much or whatever, I don't have to go pull out of my savings or my emergency fund. Because there's cushion.
There's some cushion. You're
and
right.
we're good. And we keep flowing.
The extra cushion, the 5th one, the one that you or nobody could think about because they often forget about it. It's the cash laying around your house, the cash laying around your car, the cash laying in your wallet.
Who does cash anymore? It's just not who does cash anymore.
I keep a little bit sometimes, not always.
Only when we go to like fairs or festival.
I only have I guess so. I only have cash when people pay me back. Like that's the only reason I have cash.
When we go out on trips, like out of state,
you take cash.
Yeah, like when we take an airplane out of the.
Oh yeah. You take cash.
We don't know where and where not they're gonna.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, same.
No, but same, like if somebody gave me money to pay me back for something or whatever.
But do you put that in your budget?
I just kind of keep some of that in my wallet. Just because, next week I'm going to buy something and I'm just going to pay it cash. I don't have to put it, for me, I don't put that into my budget.
I don't.
I don't go and I had this much cash. And so I'm like, in a sense, I got to eat for free.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got to eat and I gave cash and I didn't have to put it in my budget.
If I pay cash, I feel like it's free. It's not real.
Like, if people give you cash, like I don't think they put that in.
And we know it's not free.
Yeah,
obviously we're spending the money.
Yeah, especially if they pay you back. It's not, you feel like it.
But it's just like it's not, since it's not appearing in our spreadsheets. There's no negative.
It didn't happen.
It never happened.
It wasn't real.
So we're still good. And then whatever money's left over from the cash, we just add it, and they'll be like, oh, look, a little extra cushion.
Yeah, definitely. If it's a large amount, I go deposit it.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll keep
I'll
keep $10, $20 in my wallet, and it's like free money.
Yeah.
That's what I do. So we know what's important to us to spend our money on, right? Bills have to get paid. There's got to be water. There's got to be light. You have to eat food, right? That's important things to us. When spending your money, what's the best thing? Not like priority, not like, oh, I had to pay the bill. What's the best thing you've ever spent your money on? And what's the worst thing you spent money on?
I think travel. It's just, I don't know what you guys think, because for me, some people are willing to splurge on comfortability if that means it costs more, right? And some people are like, no, I'm okay with being a little bit uncomfortable knowing that it costs less, right? It's like these chairs, right? We definitely could have found chairs that were like $5, but they're nice, they're cute, they feel comfortable, they're matching. Okay, there's that comfortability.
Oh, sorry, no, don't get it wrong. These are not super expensive.
No, they're not. But they're not $5.
Yeah.
Man, we could have just bought 3 $5 chairs, and they would have been a lot.
We could have brought the kitchen chairs.
Yeah, so that is important for me. My comfortability in living a life comfortably and enjoying it to the fullest, that means so much more to me than $1 price, right? Experiences mean so much more to me than $1 price. So I think going to trips with my friends to Florida, or going to vacation with my family to New York, or I'm leaving next month to go to Peru. Like, I see the number and I'm cautious of it and I'm aware of it. But at the end of the day, that comfortability, that experience, that adventure, I don't care how much it is. Like, unless it's something outrageous, the best thing I've ever spent my money on is experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I will ever want to trade that, right? Or I don't think anybody could tell me different of like, oh, whatever. Like, I think I saw this reel or like this TikTok, which I'll probably make it one day. It's just like, yeah, I don't have that money anymore, but I'll never be 20 doing this again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel. And I think that's my philosophy.
Makes sense.
Besides travel, I would say that I'm a tech savvy person, so I'm gonna have to go with technology. Anything in my office is filled. Every part of my side of the office is filled with technology and some Legos and cars here and there. But
That's decor.
My best purchase so far has been my laptop, which was like brand new after I got I got some kind of money during COVID.
I think it was one of the COVID payments or something. One of the stimulus checks. I don't remember.
The Trump checks.
So as soon as I got that, I was like, this is what I've been saving for. I'm going to get this. So my laptop, like brand new. And that was one of the happiest things for me because I'm going to use that forever.
Yeah.
Until, it's getting old and then I'm going to have to get an upgrade. But that for me was one of my best purchases.
Yeah, thank God laptops aren't like phones where you like feel like you have to buy a new one every year. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And my car. My car was one of the best purchases.
Yeah.
It was nice. My little Ruby.
I don't know what's the best thing I spent money on.
Me.
All the things I buy for Geeky on a regular basis. It's called groceries. No, I don't know.
Your Mac.
If I were to think like in the last 6 months, because that's as far as my brain goes. Yeah. I don't know. Last 6 months, the new computer that I got, the Mac World, Kika doesn't use MacBooks. But for me, I absolutely love them. And I was introduced to that at my last job. They bought me a work laptop. And I was like, man, this thing is the best thing ever. And it wasn't like the newest one or anything like that. It was an older model, but whatever. Oh, it was great. I loved it. So I've been using it for a while because after I left the job, they let me keep the laptop. And so I kept it, and then it started getting slow on me, and it started, messing up, and, it just wasn't the same. But I love it. So I started being like, I want a new laptop, but don't spend money on that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it works. Like, and I'm like that with my phone too.
You just got a new phone.
Now I have the new phone. I have the 12. Shoot. I was on an 8 for the longest. Like, and I'm okay. It works. I'm happy. It don't matter to me. But we finally did it, and I love it. It works.
Yeah, totally.
You feel the difference after you change from the old one to that. You feel it.
She was still hesitant when I showed her the price. And then I was like, we're going to buy it. You're going to keep complaining about it. We're going to buy it. And so we went and bought it, and I used PayPal. And PayPal has that one feature that is no interest rate, no fees, no hidden fees. Yeah. You just split it in 4. Like the total that you paid, you just split it in 4 for PayPal.
And it made me feel better.
After I said that, she was like, oh, yeah, let's do that.
Get it. It won't go out all at once? I think I can do it.
No, that's the biggest thing. Things going out at once.
Yeah, when it's a big expense like that, it's like,
like, even if you have the money.
Yeah. It's just a large amount. Like, did I really have to put all that out? I don't know. But it was definitely worth it.
So do you guys get buyer's remorse? Like, when you bought your laptop, where you were like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have. No, I don't get that.
No regrets.
No regrets. Run it up.
Unless you bought an item that wasn't worth it. Like, or it's too late to return it. It just didn't work out to be worth it, Then you'd be like, oh, this was stupid. I spent my money for nothing.
Yeah.
But that's usually small items.
Yeah, that's usually small items.
Like some random thing we bought in the store. It's like, oh, it didn't work.
It's $5.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the worst thing you've ever spent your money on?
My video game that I told you guys a couple minutes ago.
The one that went to 0?
Yeah, that was the worst thing ever. That if I had to say the negative is that one, because I can't think of one single thing that I spent money on that I regret?
You know what? I couldn't think. The fair. You know what? The fair is a
fair.
scam.
It really is.
The fair
Oh,
is
it's
a scam.
ridiculous.
It's such a scam.
We were just talking about that recently.
Yeah.
That I said, Kika, every year, the older we get, the fair's dumb. It's not fun anymore.
It's not fun.
You
It's
don't
not
want to be
fun,
there.
no.
This last one, we had a fair here, 2 weeks ago?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go just for the food. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
want
it's
some
the
fair food. Oh, it was awful.
Oh, yeah,
all the stations we went to, the food was nasty. The drink was nasty.
Mm.
I was like, never again. It was so
I only
stupid.
had, like,
Oktoberfest, here we
I
come.
had
Try again.
A homemade orangeade. That was great because it was really tiny and it was just a lady like making it right in front of you.
Mhm.
What was that, like
the
$3?
only thing. That was $3.
But
for
before
a
that,
nice solo cup.
we wanted fresh hand squeezed lemonade, right? $7
No, we
each,
got it
right?
from-
Or like $9
well, it
each.
wasn't fresh. I don't.
No,
think
it
so.
wasn't.
She
It tastes like
like
water.
Yeah, it was.
And then he was like, I really like se quedó con el antojo.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
something. So we stopped by the other stand for the orangeade, and it was $3 and so much better. We were like, you see?
Mhm.
Yeah, there was such a big difference. Like they need more. They earn a lot more than what they did. That fair was like, and like we walked around and it was lame.
Yeah.
Like none of the rides were.
But at
intriguing
15,
anymore.
16, that was so much fun.
Yeah,
so much
really.
fun. No, it's a scam. That's the worst thing I spent my money on.
Like might as well just go to the carnivals. Not the
Mhm.
carnivals. What are they called? The theme parks.
Like
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 Carowinds.
like
Carowinds.
Carowinds. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Great food.
Yeah, Universal Studios.
Yeah, and those one of those things like you know
Disney's.
you're gonna spend more there,
Yeah.
but you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
worth
makes
it.
sense.
Yeah, no, I think that's my worst one. I can't think anything that's just a scam that I've just realized throughout
Yeah.
these years.
Mine,
What is it? Black Friday. Black Friday's a scam.
Oh.
but it's so much fun.
It is fun.
That one I still
is
feel is
fun.
fun. Maybe by the
I
time
don't
I'm at
think they changed the
25,
prices.
I won't feel it worth
Yeah.
it. But right now, I still enjoy it.
Cyber Monday, on the other hand.
Yeah, I like fighting. I like telling a friend, get out, go in this parking spot, go, run,
Grab it.
I hold your spot.
Yeah.
Check in with us again in a few years, but for
Yeah,
right now, we
yeah.
still do it.
Yeah, I promise that by
but still.
the end of this year or by next year, I will have a bigger and flatter screen TV.
Okay.
I've always, Kathy, every time that we go by like a
Surround
big
sound.
store.
I'm like, our TV's
Kathy-
perfectly fine.
Yeah, our TV's perfectly fine. And our TV is like 2015. It's big.
Yeah.
But it's like
a nice
chunky,
TV.
and I'm like staring
true.
at. I'm in the TV aisle, like staring. I'm like, wow,
Wow.
look at this. Look
This
at
would
this
be
price.
nice in my house.
He's like, it's only this much. Only.
only just.
Yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
find one that will do the PayPal thing, and I'll
Yeah.
probably be like, oh, you know what?
You know what? I'm
Cyber
gonna get it on
Monday.
Amazon. Like I'm gonna like order it online just so that we can use honey.com and we can use
Ah.
PayPal with it.
4
I'm
different
gonna get double the
payments.
benefit.
I might cave.
Yes.
We'll
Yeah.
keep you posted.
Yeah. Yes.
Make a story that we're mounting our new TV. Well, for me, I don't think that this is the worst thing I've ever spent money on, but I think it felt like that at the beginning because I felt so disappointed, and I remember just the sadness, and that is my car. My first car, I didn't buy it. My parents gave me that car. It lasted me for a long time. You know, I got all the juice out of it. Eventually, it started breaking down. It had problems every other week, you know, things. And I kept juicing it and using everything that I could because I'm like that. You know, it's fine. And we were going to get married. And, you know, I'm not going to buy a new car right now. But last year in 2021, we were like, all right, we've saved up the money. We're gonna change Kathy's car. We're gonna get a new car. I chose my beautiful car. And that thing, the first 6 months of its life was...
Not even the first 6 months. After the first month.
Yeah. But, yeah, after I had it for a month, everything was beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh, I got a new car. It's so pretty. 1 month in, it was a horror story for a good 6 months to a year.
To a year. That's
Messing
like
up
the whole year.
all the time. Like... we went back to the dealership a million times. You told me you fixed this.
October.
It was terrible. You said you fixed it last time and did it again. And thank God I have Kika. Thank God I was married by then because I couldn't have done it by myself. And Kika was like, listen, oh, well, you're out of the warranty. Kika was like, but you said that you fixed it. And clearly it's not fixed. It was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And it's not fixed.
You say that, but I'm pretty sure people can't imagine me talking.
You know what? I don't have proof. I wasn't there. I didn't record it. Kika would go in and I would wait in the car.
There was one where I said, you're going to return. You're going to give us our money back. You were there for that one. I went that far. I think so. I was like, you didn't give me what I was, like, what you sold me, that is not it. And I need my money back. Because it's 6 months in, you still haven't fixed the car. And I can't go on with this. I can't.
I didn't record it though. I don't got no proof, but he did. But there was many times, I don't know, Kika would go in, but he would come out and he'd be like, okay, they're going to fix the car. That's all I cared about. They're going to fix it and for free because it's clearly not fixed.
Well, yeah, and that's the good thing about it. It's just that they kept fixing it without charge because...
because they weren't fixing it. They were
exactly. I've done nothing wrong.
But did you guys? Because the same thing kind of happened to me when my freaking car wanted to die in the middle. My car would just stop while I was driving on the interstate, on the 70, on anywhere. It would just stop. I would turn it on. It wouldn't turn on. It just wouldn't turn on. And I told my mom from the beginning, let me just take it to. It's a Toyota. Let me just take it to the Toyota place because I bought it off. Well, my grandfather or my mother, they bought it off the lot. My family is a firm believer in just buying cars new. I've never bought a car.
I want to.
Never bought a car. I've had this car forever. My car before, it was a used one. And I've just never, all of our cars straight off the lot, brand new. And I know that's wrong because it's so expensive. It loses value over the year. But they do that because if it's off the lot, there's no problems with it, right? I was like, I'm going to take it there. They made it. They're going to know. And my mom was like, no, go to the person down here. I ended up spending $1,600 to fix my car. And the real problem was like one of these, a little tube in like where you put the little, I don't know what they're called, the fuses. There's like this big tube in there. And for some reason, I guess somebody had messed with it. My mom had said that at one point she had messed with it and they never put it in right. So every time I would move the car and it'd get out of place, the car would turn off. To buy that piece and for the labor of the Toyota was like $300-$350.
Yeah,
that I could have paid immediately, but I ended up paying $1,600 for a piece that cost $50. $50. I hate.
That's
what I'm
another
saying.
Reason why we don't.
Cars are a huge headache.
That's what I'm saying. Gosh. Comfortability, like just sometimes it's worth it. Put the money down, all right? Because maybe you'll end up spending more than what you think.
That's why like you will never see me go to a mechanic. I know some mechanics that I trust, but I never go to anybody because I fix it myself. I change my oil myself.
Yeah.
Kika knew a few basics, but definitely within the last year, after all the car headaches and everything, he's learned so much more car stuff.
When we went to Florida, and it turned off.
Yeah. But he's learned so much now. He knows how to do it himself. He'll buy the parts, and his dad has taught him a lot, or he'll YouTube it, whatever. Because they'll get you.
They'll get you.
But so I remember with my car, that feeling of disappointment, and I remember breaking down at home because I believe in paying your car in cash. Pay it all at once. Pay it all at once. I'm a firm believer in that. So we had saved up the money and it went straight to the car. A couple $1,000s all there, you know.
What sucks is that if it wasn't cash, they would have probably considered it. But I'm pretty sure we gave them cash. They gave us a car and they spent it.
Yeah, they get out of it, you know. You paid us cash, and you used it. We used it as negotiation to lower the price because I'm gonna pay you cash, and they took it. They lowered the price. Yeah. I mean, you know, they're doing their job too, I guess, in a sense. Yeah. But I remember just the devastation.
But at that point, it was a little more than hustle, almost borderline scam. But they didn't touch scam, but they were there.
Only God knows their heart.
I know that I talked to a couple of lawyers as consultation,
Wow.
And they were like, oh, yeah, like, you can, like, do something about it. And I was like, oh, I can? Like, tell me. And I was like, basically, like, the Lime Act, like the fruit lime. There was something about that, like, they're committing fraud because they're not selling me what they promised. And so I could bring that up, and I had every receipt of everything they fixed on my car.
We saved everything.
We saved everything. I could have sued them, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I could have done it. I could have taken more than what I paid for.
Yeah.
We probably would have lost money in the process, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff. Well, at the end of the day, we still have the car. She's beautiful. She's working. We know we have a good life now. Yeah. But I remember in those first couple months being like, this was the worst. I was like, where did I not see those signs wrong? Like, did I not notice that they were lying to me? Because I fully believed them. Obviously, I knew I was buying a used car, but I was like, I ate up all their words, and I believed everything, and I gave them all my money, and this car don't work, and I was just so devastated. But we're okay now. She's great.
More than great.
Thank God.
Well, to close up, I'm gonna end with a verse, and I mean, there's a bunch of things that we could talk about money. Like,
yeah, for sure.
We could talk about the things that we don't know. Like, I've even talked to you guys. Like, I want to get into like this whole stocks and whatever and whoever.
Investing money.
We
don't know how all that works.
We don't know. We're lost, completely lost, learning this whole financial world and how it works and how not to. If we can not have to work all the way to 65 and retire, like if I can do that earlier, like there's so much.
Let us know.
There's so much to learn about money. We're so young. So I want to end with this verse, and it's Hebrews 13:5. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Childhood Expired. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, and leave us a review and a comment of what you've enjoyed. Bye.
Bye.